I went to where Irina died today, and it was just as much of a shock as I imagined, if not greater. I was moved to tears for the first time in years today, after seeing her face while scrolling across the timeline. I've had coworkers tell me that I'm impatient and they just don't seem to get it. Every time I look at her, I see the blonde hair of my sister, mother, and grandmother. I see the brown eyes of my other sister. I see the freckles of my friend. I see the sweetness and innocence of all my cousins. Besides my father's, I'm the only man in my family. And it comes with quite a responsibility having that many girls around. I just visited out west, which you'll see a lot about soon, and even just going to the gym and the coffee shop, I'm on constant alert when I have them with me. Irina's death occurred not even 2 miles from me. It's quite the painful spiritual malaise and torment when you look at her face and you see every woman in your life. And so the immediate reaction by every God-fearing person on earth is to pray. The wicked do not understand that God is not a genie and prayers are not wishes. Prayers simply are an attempt to call the Lord to your favor. He may answer, he may not. He may be busy elsewhere. However, the more you do it, the better of a chance he'll have to hear you. I'm paraphrasing the scripture, but knock and the door shall be opened. If the door hasn't opened yet, keep knocking. And so the wicked will try to convince you that prayers mean nothing. They think that because your wish wasn't immediately granted means that prayers are worthless, which is absurd. There's a degree of gratification involved, patience, and understanding. Prayer is an attempt to continue shaping the world in God's image. And the wicked just don't understand that. Because the ideas of what constitutes someone as good, as a good person, is a very complex amalgamation of values, traits, duties. Being righteous includes having a mastery over many things. The wicked do not understand this. The wicked often say that empathy and kindness are what makes a good person, and harmlessness. However, the commonality between those three attributes is that they're so baseline that they barely require anything of you. Being kind to someone is so easy that children do it as a base mode of operations. Being empathetic really means just feeling bad for it. If you really want to break it down to how it is used, not its dictionary definition, but how it is used. Empathy is often used to say, oh, I feel bad for these people, so they should have more. Which is great. Everybody should have what they deserve. However, being empathetic for someone is just an arrangement of your own feelings. It doesn't require action. It does not require tangible action to be empathetic. That is why the wicked covet it so much. Because it's really just a state of mind and not a vessel for any actual change. And so, these virtues are so pacifist and so devoid of value that the wicked will project that idea of a good person onto the righteous. Because those terms being so inactionable that if the righteous are convinced that that is what is truly righteous, then the righteous will do nothing. The wicked try to tell you what being a good Christian is when they know nothing about it. Personally, I'm still learning. I only came around to the truth 2.5 years ago, Easter of 2023, in church with my grandmother. There's a video about that. Anyway, When a tragedy such as the death of Irina happened, the wicked work overtime. The wicked run amok to try to quell any sort of action from the righteous. And it's quite interesting, because this pacification of the righteous is so heavily attempted to be socially enforced by the wicked in order to drive the righteous into inaction. And at Modern Saviors, we talk about how our modern myths imitate Christ, and we talk about how, and we look for God in our modern stories. And so, therefore, quite often on the channel, we talk about how Superman imitates Christ more than just about anyone else. More than anyone else. And wouldn't you find it funny that in comic book culture, this same pacification, this same harmlessness, this same false virtue is socially enforced onto Superman, the most Christ-like figure in all of American mythology. People think Superman shouldn't hurt a fly. People think Superman can always just talk it out. The wicked don't understand why Superman would have to get his hands dirty when the threat of absolute death and tyranny comes to Earth. The wicked think he should be nice. The wicked think he should talk it out. Ideally, that's the first action. So what I really would like to do is pose a question. Because that's the great riddle of life, isn't it? To figure out why. So why? Why is this pacified, false virtue of inaction so heavily attempted to be socially enforced through gaslighting, manipulation, and reputation destruction onto the righteous? Why? The righteous men and women of the world, it is socially forced upon them, socially enforced upon Christianity as a whole. The wicked try to socially enforce this upon Jesus himself. Why? Why is it so? Why is it so insisted upon by the wicked? These values of inaction accomplish nothing. So if they accomplish nothing, then what? Then why is it so heavily socially enforced? I don't know, but these are the things I think about. Their feet rush to sin. They are swift to shed innocent blood. They pursue evil schemes, and acts of violence mark their ways.